Hey everyone, good morning. Have you ever really wondered about the Ark of the Covenant? I mean, most people know what it's about. If you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark or pictures or whatever, and ever read the Bible, you kind of know about the Ark of the Covenant. But do you really understand or know or thought about what it represents? Well, I'm probably not going to get to all of it today, but I'm going to get a good start with it. And what does it symbolize? What does it mean? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because I think there's a lot more to it than you might realize. So to really understand it, you got to go back to the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis, God says he created mankind in his image and likeness. And that image and likeness, which I've talked about before, is not just a physical appearance. There's a similar physical appearance because Jesus is incarnated into a man, human, okay, and looks like us, okay? So the word image has a connotation of shadow, okay? But you look at the Hebrew word, it means shadow. But likeness has a lot more to do with character traits, things like love and compassion and all those intangibles. That is more like the likeness part in the two Hebrew words, image and likeness. But I covered that already in another message. But let's talk about the ark. I have a couple of notes here, and I think when you see the symbolism of it, it'll kind of blow your mind a little bit. So I wrote down notes so I won't forget anything, okay? Usually don't like to do that, but I don't want to miss anything here. It says when the instructions in Exodus was to start with a box made out of wood, acacia wood. Acacia wood is very, very dense. It's very resistant to rot and bugs, lasts a long time, and is just natural material. It's just natural material. You know, the Bible says that we carry this treasure in earthen vessels, and that's related more to like clay. But when the instructions were given to build the ark, it was just basically out of natural material, wood, okay? And then the instructions were to cover it with gold, beaten gold. So the wood represents you and I, natural material. We're formed from the dust of the earth. Basic natural material, clay, earth, wood, all natural material. But then he says to cover it inside and out with gold, but he specifies beaten gold. And what does the gold symbolize? Symbolize divine nature. See, I want you to catch this. We started out in the image and likeness of God. And when Adam and Eve disobeyed, a great part of that image and likeness was lost. So today, and I covered this once before, in the image and likeness of God, the only people that were created in that were Adam and Eve. And a big part of that was lost when they sinned. And if you don't believe me, just look around you today. Are people made in God's image and likeness? In other words, if you look at the character of God, the integrity, the holiness, the love, the compassion, all the things that make up God, do you see that in a lot of people today? And so when someone says, well, we're all made in God's image and likeness, well, sorry, not, okay? Murder and deceit and corruption, it's all around us. Is that God's image and likeness? Heck no. Heck no. So that's been lost. And when God's creating this ark, what he's doing and what he's saying is, this is my pattern for mankind. And everything about the ark and included in the ark and on the ark is a symbol of what he's trying to rebuild or reinstate his image and likeness in mankind. So let's go on. So he covers the ark, instructs Moses to build the ark and cover it with gold inside and outside. Now I kind of get the outside part, because that's what you see. But why the inside? There's going to be a cover on top of it. Nobody's going to see the inside. Well, what he's saying is he wants to cover us with his image and likeness on the outside of us, which is that part that the world sees. But then he wants to cover us on the inside, which has to do with our heart. Because look at Jesus in his conversation with some of the Pharisees, and he said, you're like whitewashed tombs. You look good on the outside, but on the inside, you're fully corrupt. And so what God is saying in this part about the gold being on the outside and the inside is he wants to change us from the inside out. So he wants our hearts to be pure, but then he also wants our actions and the part that people see to be pure as well. Okay, you got that part? Inside and outside. And if you look at when God instructed Noah to make the ark, he said put the pitch on the outside to make it waterproof, but then he put it on the inside of the ark as well. And when builders build a boat, they don't usually put a waterproof coating on the inside as well. They put it on the outside to keep the water out. So it's a carryover of that symbolization of doing a work on the inside as well as the outside. Okay? So this is just part one. I want you to think about that because there's a lot to cover here. I don't know how long this series will go. But again, think about God starting with a natural material. He formed man from the dust of the earth. Okay? And originally created in his image like this, but they didn't hold on to it. They let it go. And from that point on until Jesus, there were these symbols of a restoration back to the original image and likeness of him. And that ark is a representation of the restoration of the image and likeness of God. So think about that. I've got a lot more to unpack on this whole idea. But you want to watch this series. You want to stay close to this series because it is so rich in this idea. It'll show you things that you've probably never seen before. So anyway, hang on tight. I will get you more as this series unfolds. Thanks.